You ever been car shopping and thought, why are some of these even on the market? Maybe you've test-driven a car that felt like it was held together with duct tape. Or maybe you bought something that looked great online, only to regret it the moment you drove it off the lot. We've all been there. That's why this list hits home, because these cars didn't just miss the mark, they crashed right through it. Welcome back to the channel, where we expose the cars that automakers would probably rather forget existed. Today, we're diving into 17 of the worst cars that no one, and we mean no one, wants to buy. Buckle up, because this list is going to get ugly fast. These aren't just cars that were a little bad. These are the ones that made people say, never again. From strange designs to mechanical disasters, we're counting down from number 17 to number 1. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the final entry. Let's kick things off. At number 17, we have the Smart for Two. The Smart for Two was a car that tried to be clever, but let's be honest, it just wasn't. Sure, it was small enough to park in your living room, but with a jerky transmission, sluggish performance, and about as much trunk space as a glove compartment, most people quickly realized it wasn't worth the sacrifice. And let's not forget, it wasn't even that fuel efficient for its size. If you're going to drive something that looks like a golf cart, it better be saving you some serious gas money. At number 16, the Chrysler 200. The Chrysler 200 looked decent at first glance. Sleek headlights, a modern body, but the problem started the moment you turned the key. Its 9-speed transmission was notorious for jerky, unpredictable shifts. Owners reported it felt like the car couldn't decide what gear it wanted. It was also plagued with electronic issues. Screens freezing, backup cameras glitching, you name it. In fact, Consumer Reports gave it one of the lowest reliability scores in its class. Even Chrysler knew they messed up. Sales dropped so fast, they killed the model entirely by 2017. Imagine building a car so problematic, your own company pulls the plug in just a few years. At number 15, we've got the Mitsubishi Mirage. It's cheap, it's small, and well, that's about it. The Mirage makes the list because it's one of those cars that feels like it's stuck in the past. It's painfully slow, noisy inside, and the build quality is questionable at best. Mitsubishi may have tried to market it as a budget-friendly option, but even bargain hunters started steering clear. For a little more money, you can get something way better, and that's exactly what people did. At number 14, the Fiat 500L. Ah yes, the Fiat 500L. Not to be confused with the cute and quirky Fiat 500. This L version somehow managed to strip away all the charm and replace it with frustration. It was oddly proportioned, handled like a boat, and had a transmission that made drivers feel like they were in a video game. A really bad one. Plus, its resale value tanked faster than you can say, "Fix it again, Tony." At number 13, the Nissan Juke. The Juke is one of those cars where people either loved it or hated it. And most hated it. The front looked like it had eyes on the hood, the back looked squished. And inside, let's just say, it didn't exactly scream luxury. Reliability was hit or miss, and the CVT, continuously variable transmission, turned even short drives into a game of patience. Sure, it was different, but sometimes different just means bad. At number 12, the Jeep Compass, first gen. Jeep has made some legends, but the first-gen Compass is not one of them. It looked awkward, felt underpowered, and had a cheap interior that even rental car companies raised their eyebrows at. Off-road capability? Forget about it. This Compass couldn't even find the road it came from. Jeep fans were not amused, and neither were buyers. At number 11, the Chevrolet Spark. If you've ever driven a Spark, you probably know why it made the list. It's loud, cramped, and doesn't handle well at higher speeds. While it had a good price tag and some decent tech for the money, it still felt like you were driving a tin can. As safety standards and expectations rose, the Spark just couldn't keep up. At number 10, the Dodge Journey. The Dodge Journey is one of those cars that just wouldn't die, but maybe it should have. It stuck around way past its expiration date without any major updates. The design felt ancient, the interior screamed early 2000s, and the base engine struggled to keep up with modern traffic. Dodge finally pulled the plug, but not before dealerships were practically giving them away. At number 9, the Lincoln MKT. The Lincoln MKT tried to be a luxury crossover, but it ended up looking like a hearse and driving like one too. Its styling was polarizing, its tech felt clunky, and for the price, people just expected more. It had decent power under the hood, but that wasn't enough to save it from obscurity. At number 8, the Suzuki Kizashi. Great name, average everything else. The Suzuki Kizashi actually had potential. It handled well and was surprisingly fun to drive, but nobody bought it. Suzuki's weak dealership network, poor marketing, and a brand on life support in the US meant it didn't stand a chance. It faded into history as one of the most forgettable sedans ever. At number 7, the Toyota Yaris IA. This was actually a rebadged Mazda 2. And while Mazda knows how to build a fun compact, Toyota didn't really do it any favors. The styling was awkward, the infotainment system was dated, and it just didn't feel like a Toyota. People expecting Toyota reliability and practicality were often disappointed by what felt like a strange experiment. At number 6, the Pontiac Aztek. No worst cars list is complete without the Aztek. It's become a meme for a reason. Ugly? Absolutely. Functional? Surprisingly, yes. But most buyers couldn't get past the design. It looked like a concept car that escaped the factory. Even Walter White couldn't make this thing cool. At number 5, the Hyundai Veloster, first gen. Cool name, weird car. The Veloster tried to be sporty with its asymmetrical door layout. One door on the driver's side, two on the passenger side. But the driving experience didn't match the styling. The base engine was sluggish, the interior materials felt cheap, and rear visibility was a nightmare. Car enthusiasts wanted a fun hatchback. What they got was a compromise with identity issues. At number 4, the Dodge Caliber. Oh boy, the Dodge Caliber was supposed to replace the Neon and help Dodge compete in the compact car market. Instead, it confused everyone. It looked like a crossover, drove like a wagon, and felt like a punishment. The interior plastics were some of the worst in the business, and the CVT made it sound like a lawnmower under stress. Dodge tried to be edgy with it, but edgy quickly turned into embarrassing. At number 3, the Chevrolet SSR. Ever wanted a retro-styled pickup truck convertible? No? Yeah, neither did most people. The SSR was an odd mashup of muscle car looks and truck body, but with underwhelming performance and a price tag that made people laugh. Even though it had a V8 later in production, the damage was done. It's now more of a curiosity than a collectible. At number 2, the Hummer H2. The H2 is basically what happens when you build a vehicle for image, not practicality. It was enormous, hard to drive in cities, and guzzled gas like it was going out of style. Sure, it had presence, but what it didn't have was refinement, comfort, or even reasonable cargo space for its size. Environmentalists hated it. So did most gas station attendants. And finally, at number 1, the PT Cruiser. This is the one, the king of cringe. The PT Cruiser tried to blend retro charm with modern practicality, but failed at both. The engine was underpowered, the handling was sloppy, and the design, well, let's just say it aged like milk. It became the poster child of poor taste in car design. Despite a few die-hard fans, most people couldn't wait to see it disappear from showrooms. And eventually, it did. So there you have it, 17 of the worst cars that the world just couldn't get behind. Some were weird, some were boring, and others were straight up disasters. Let us know in the comments if you've ever driven or suffered through any of these. And if we missed a car that belongs on this list, you know what to do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next one. Until then, drive safe and steer clear of these lemons.